Hello YouTube, Wes here checking in with my vinyl inbox for the month of December, and I know it's February right now when I'm recording this, and yeah, it's very much delayed, but finally getting back into the swing of things, making videos. I've been uploading a lot of sort of older videos I had on my computer that never saw the light of day, so thanks for staying patient with me, staying tuned. At least I have a little bit of new content I was able to share with you over the past month or so while I was not making videos here, but back into it. Got some new lights here. Hopefully it's working well. Just something a little bit smaller, a little bit easier for me to work with. So nothing too fancy, but anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. This is the vinyl I picked up for the month of December. Got some Christmas presents in here. Got some dollar bin finds. Got a couple of Vinyl Me Please releases since the November one was delayed, so we got two of those. So let's go ahead and get into it. First thing I'll share with you was a Christmas present, and it's made of vinyl, but yeah, I got the Hot Topic exclusive Kurt Cobain pop figure. Got a few of these pops. I don't have a large collection of them, but I get them every now and then. But yeah, I saw this one, really liked it, thought it was cool. It was a nice one, so wanted that for Christmas, and my husband got it for me, so that was awesome. Got Kurt Cobain here, so got a little bit of music related, and it's vinyl. So I wanted to put it in my vinyl inbox. So we'll throw him back there. He's back there with the little sister from BioShock. I'm a big fan of BioShock. So let's go ahead and get to the actual vinyl here. First thing I got here are a couple pickups from the Second and Charles here in Gainesville. Go there once or twice a month, depending on how things work out. Just sort of an after dinner kind of way to stroll around and browse things. It's fun to look at vinyl and books and video games and all that kind of stuff. First thing I got here is an album from Dolly Parton, Just the Way I Am. 1972 is the year on this one. Pretty early one. Very nice. Always nice to add to the Dolly Parton collection. That was $2.95, so pretty reasonably priced. This one I picked up. It's kind of cheesy, I know, and I like it, and I don't really see this on vinyl very often, and that's Starship, Knee Deep in the Hoopla. Of course, it's got We Built This City, which is probably one of the most hated rock songs of all time. I kind of like it. I like over-the-top stuff like that sometimes. It's over the top. It's meant to be over the top. I mean, look at the freaking album. It's the 80s. It's over the top. Who cares? Just have some fun and enjoy it. So yeah, I picked that up. That was $3.95. Like I said, I don't see that album on vinyl, so I wanted to go ahead and grab it. This next one I saw actually in a Michael Fremer video. He was flipping through a box of records at one of the hi-fi shows he went to, and I was like, I don't think I've seen that one. It's a Keith Jarrett album. I love Keith Jarrett. Awesome artist. And it's an organ. It's an organ album from Keith Jarrett, and I love organ music. And I said I gotta have that, so I went on Discogs and found a copy. Well, not expensive, but this is Keith Jarrett's organ album titled Hymns and Spheres. 2 LP set here. Nice gatefold, of course, an ECM release. Nice textured cover on this, and yeah, definitely dug listening to this, and very cool stuff. So yeah, a vinyl pickup from a Michael Fremer video, even though he normally talks about gear, but picked up an album. Even though it wasn't something he recommended, it was just something I happened to see when he was flipping through. Okay, so these next two were also Christmas gifts for my husband. The only person brave enough to buy me vinyl this year, but it was nice, and I got a couple things from my Amazon wish list, which is always awesome. First thing I got here is a psychedelic band titled Pond. This is their album, Man, It Feels Like Space Again. If you are familiar with Tame Impala, several of the members of both bands sort of go back and forth between these two groups, and so they have sort of a similar sound, even though they don't sound the same. they're sort of in the same wheelhouse. So if you like Tame Impala, you might like Pond. If you like Pond, you might like Tame Impala, that kind of thing. There's sort of some crossover there as far as their style, modern psychedelic kind of stuff. I would say Pond is a little more garagey maybe than Tame Impala. Tame Impala is a lot more lush sounding. Yeah, really cool stuff. If you're into modern psych music, you may have heard of Pond before. If you haven't, if you're a fan of Tame Impala, check out this group Pond. Really cool group. Really nice die cut cover on this one as well. That slides out there. Very psychedelic. There's that. I think this was pressed at Record Industry. Very nice pressing. Very nice quality pressing. Pond, man, it feels like space again. Modern psych stuff. This is their album from 2014. They also had an album that came out last year, I believe it was. It's also very good. I want to get that one too. But yeah, cool group. So if you, like I said, if you're into Tame Impala, check out Pond if you haven't heard of them before. And then this one was one that I wanted. I bought it on CD. I know a lot of people had this on their, best of 2018 list, and it's definitely a good, really good album. An album from an artist I've been following for a while now, and that is the latest release from Kacey Musgraves titled Golden Hour. Definitely, she's moving more and more and more into a pop realm, and this is a very, very poppy album. She started off sort of country and country pop, and then moved into this more of a pure pop kind of sensibilities here. Definitely, the album aesthetic fits the sound. Really good album from her. I kind of looked, to tell the truth, I kind of liked her more as when she was more country. I know a lot of people really, really love this album, but I think she's done better than this. So yeah, if you're new to Kacey Musgraves, go back and listen to some of her old stuff. I think she was a little bit better, just being sort of a country pop star or country pop artist. I guess you got to do pop to be a star these days. Yeah, there's the ear there, and then this is pressed on clear vinyl. Pretty cool. And this was mastered by Wes Garland and pressed at Rainbow Pressing, if you're curious about that. So not the highest quality pressing there, but it's good enough, and it's a pop album, so yeah, it's nice. So Kacey Musgraves, my second Christmas gift and my only other Christmas vinyl that I received this year, so that was cool. All right, so let's go ahead and get into these Vinyl Me Please releases. First one I got here is the one from November that was delayed because of a printing error, and that is the reissue of the Queen, not the Queen, the reissue of Queen's Night at the Opera. They did a really, really nice job of reissuing this. Hopefully it doesn't glare too much. It is one of those extremely glossy covers, done in a nice Stoughton jacket, very heavy, thick, cardstock here. It's the gatefold, very, very nice. And then the interior, a nice red, solid red interior. And there is the artwork piece that Vinyl Me Please includes in all their albums. This is by Megan Bowker. And then the inner sleeve. And then the album itself, beautiful, beautiful purpley, pinky kind of swirl here. Yeah, very, very pretty album. Very nicely done. So yeah, Queen's Night at the Opera, probably my least favorite Queen album, even though I haven't heard all of them, probably. I'm sure there's some I haven't heard before. I'm not a fan of this album at all. I've always had an aversion to Bohemian Rhapsody, the song. I just don't like it. I don't get it. It's annoying to me. It's like nails on the chalkboard to me. So that was sort of a struggle for me. I don't get this album. I was thinking about it today, and I like other rock operas, so I don't know what it is about this one that I don't like, but I don't like it. I mean, my favorite song on here is 39, which, if you know this album, that's the most standout, least like anything else on this album. It doesn't fit the album at all, but that's my favorite track on here, and the rest of the album I can just do without. Yeah, so it's nice to have this in the collection. I do like Queen. I like their music. I just don't like this album. I don't get it. It just doesn't. I really struggle with this one. So if anyone out there has any suggestions how I can get into this more, what's the story here? I can't even follow what the story is with this. It just doesn't. It's such a turnoff for me that I can't really get into it. But anyway, I'm gonna keep this. It's Queen. I have a Queen collection. I never had this before, so this will be my copy of A Night at the Opera. My only copy. I'm not gonna buy it again. So yeah, Night at the Opera by Queen. Nicely done, nicely packaged. Really enjoyed the reissue from Vinyl Me Please, but yeah, not a favorite album of mine in the least. All right, so moving on, we have the December album of the month from Vinyl Me Please, and did a nice classic sort of soul reissue of Mavis Staples, self-titled, on Volt Records. Originally released in 1969. Really, really nicely done. Again, as usual with Vinyl Me Please, nice heavyweight Stoughton tip-on jacket. Very nicely recreated. That classic sort of album feel. Great sound on this one. This one's got Until I Met You on it. Son of a Preacher Man, You Send Me, House Is Not a Home. Great tracks on here. Great soul album. And there's the art print that Vinyl Me Please did to go with this one. And they, as usual, they do a cool colored pressing. There's the classic Volt label, but it also comes on this cool sort of brown, swirly, marbly, sort of very classic, or almost like a burled walnut kind of look. Yeah, very, very pretty, very enjoyable. Sounds good as always. Pressed at RTI, actually. Mavis Staples with the album of the month from December for Vinyl Me Please, her self-titled, awesome album, definitely killer stuff, and definitely enjoyed getting that. Okay, these next bunch I'm going to share with you are from Arrow's Aim Records in what I thought was the dollar bin, what used to be the dollar bin. Now it is apparently a $2 bin, so I kind of was upset. I went ahead and paid the price, because I had already found these records, pulled them out, went through all the process of digging for them. I wasn't just going to leave without them, so it ended up being $16 instead of $8 that I thought I was going to spend. But yeah, I was kind of upset that it was a $2 bin and wasn't really marked well, that the price went up on them. But yeah, I'm kind of unhappy in the new management of that record store anyway, as it is, so I go there less and less. But what can I do? It is what it is. But yeah, these are all $2 records that I thought were dollar records. Another one from Starship. This one's titled No Protection. Set the Night to Music on it, and Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. 12-inch single from West Street Mob. This is for the single Ooh Baby. I know my friend Mike here in town, who is pretty knowledgeable on early hip-hop, has talked about the West Street Mob before, so I wanted to go ahead and grab that when I had the chance. That was a cool find on Sugar Hill Records. Here's sort of a queer 80s sort of new wave artist that I didn't know about before this, but wanted to experience, and that's Marilyn with Despite Straight Lines. So definitely some cool sort of gender bending going on there, and I thought that would be a nice nice thing to listen and experience and research and learn about. So that was a nice find. I always enjoy finding stuff like that in the cheap bins. Here's an album from a group called the Wooden Tops with Giant. Just like the artwork on this one. So I thought it was another one, sort of a mystery buy. Not sure what I'm gonna get here, but picked that up. Really nice copy of this, Blondie's Eat to the Beat. Wasn't sure if it would be an upgrade or not, but wasn't going to pass it up. I thought it was $1 and ended up being $2. Still not probably a bad price for this. I can always put it in my Discogs store and get a few dollars for it probably. A copy of the Communards self-titled Jimmy Somerville from Blondie Eat. He went on to do this group with Mike Thorne. Copy of Planet Rock by Soul Sonic Force. 12-inch single to that. Don't often pick up too many 12-inch singles, but pick these couple up, the early hip-hop stuff. Definitely classics here, and want to own them on because they're more well-known as being singles than actual albums. So it's fine to pick these up on single. And what I believe is the last one there from the $2 bin at the Arrow's Aim there. This is the soundtrack to Arlo Guthrie's Alice's Restaurant, the movie. So it's got the Alice's Restaurant story sort of split up into two parts, and then some other music from the movie, and it's slightly different than the one you hear on the album. So yeah, just something you don't see. You find the normal Alice's Restaurant album a lot, but you don't see this soundtrack very often. It's pretty rare, so that was a cool find. Glad to have found that. All right, and these next three were from the other record store here in town called Here Again Records. They do deal mostly in new records, but they do have some used stuff, and they have a dollar bin, and the records are actually $1 in the dollar bin. Imagine that. And this first one was an amazing. I am so glad I found this. This was killer. This is killer. Shahrazad, Rimsky-Korsakov. On the Mercury Living Presence label, stereo Mercury Living Presence label. Beautiful condition. Maroon label. Beautiful copy. FR2 in the dead wax. If you don't know Mercury Living Presence, you want either R or FR stamped in the dead wax, and then a number. Anything, there's something like CR something, or CCRR, I think. Those are the later pressings, but if it's F or FR, those are the early pressings. Those are the best pressings of these Mercury Living Presence recordings, and they sound. This is some of the best vinyl I've ever heard. The dynamic range on this is just incredible. It's very extreme. You have to turn the volume up much louder than you would normally listen to something when you're listening to these, I found. But it's very dramatic. Yeah, just awesome. I've heard a lot of great things about these Mercury Living Presence early pressings, and this was an incredible find, and I do want to find some more. You do not see these cheap. They are very collectible, and to pick this up for $1 was a killer thing. And Shahrazad is very approachable classical music. It has sort of an Arabian Nights kind of sound to it. Very enjoyable enjoyable piece, and yeah, really cool find. So I was pleased to find that in the dollar bin. That was probably the best. That was definitely the best find of December, and one of the best finds I've had all year. So enough rambling about that. Get yourself some of those if you can. Next up, we got the Bee Gees with Lying Eyes, or Living Eyes, not Lying Eyes, from 1981. So kind of a late album for them. Hadn't heard this one before, so I thought I would pick it up and give it a try. There's the gatefold. And then a 12-inch dance single. This is Juliet with Ride the Pain. I just thought I'd give it a try, and it's actually a pretty good track, so I enjoyed it. Enjoyed listening to this. That was a good one for $1. Alright, and last but not least for December, I actually picked this up pretty much on the last day of December. This was a suggestion from Vinyl Collector James. This is one of his best of 2018 records, one of his favorites. Something I hadn't heard of, but definitely a killer indie rock group. This is titled Low Moon. Just a really awesome indie rock group. I don't know exactly how to sort of explain what they sound like, because it doesn't really sound like anything that I can directly say they sound like this, because they have their own sound. I can almost relate it to, they have sort of the lushness of the National, but more electronic. It's like if the National went electronic. It's really, it has this really lush, warm kind of feel to it, but it's electronic. There is a singer, and he's got a very sort of unique, lush, rich voice. But yeah, definitely a nice recommendation from James. So in case you happen to see this, thank you very much. I definitely thoroughly enjoyed listening to this. Very reasonably priced. It was like 14 bucks on Amazon too, so I was very happy with that. 2 LP set, not a gatefold, but it does come in its own sleeves here, and then it's pressed on a really nice sort of blue, smoky, a little bit of black in there, kind of a little bit of white and black in sort of a light, very light, clear ocean blue kind of look to it. Low Moon, self-titled, one of James's best of 2018, and probably would be one of my best of 2018s, even though I didn't hear this until the very last day. But yeah, just an awesome group, and I look forward to hopefully hearing more from them. And so yeah, that's going to do it for my December vinyl inbox. Hope you enjoyed the show here. If you did, give me a thumbs up, leave me some comments down below. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day, a great night, and we'll see you again real soon. Cheers.